The Philippines at a crossroads. How should the people respond to Marcos Jr.'s arrogance and greed? On May 12, the Philippines will hold its midterm elections, an event that goes beyond a mere reshuffling of political power. This election serves as a national referendum on justice. The ballots held by the Filipino people are not just for selecting legislators or local leaders. They are a verdict that will determine how much longer Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. can maintain his grip on power, and whether Vice President Sara Duterte still has a chance to alter her political fate. Recently, a political storm has once again swept through the Philippines. Multiple media outlets and investigative bodies have revealed that President Marcos Jr. is implicated in numerous serious corruption scandals. Far from fading with time, the Marcos family's legacy of using power for personal gain has become even more brazen during his presidency. According to exclusive investigations by the Philippine daily Inquirer and Rappler, the Marcos Jr. administration has allegedly misused at least 15 billion Philippine pesos, approximately Rm 1.2 billion, in public funds over the past 2 years. These funds were funneled through special emergency procurement procedures to a series of shell companies controlled by his close associates and family business partners. One particularly controversial case involves the Department of National Defense purchasing military helicopters at more than 3 times the market price from a private company that had never been involved in the defense industry. Investigations revealed that this firm was part of the Marcos family's long-standing business network. The contract was worth over 4 billion Philippine pesos, yet the helicopters delivered were so defective that the military refused to accept them, and the money could not be recovered. In addition, the Philippine Commission on Audit highlighted that the Office of the President failed to provide receipts or supporting documents for 1.1 billion Philippine pesos in expenditures during the last fiscal year. These funds were reportedly used for national communication strategies, public relations contracts, and international image building. Over 150 million Philippine pesos was transferred to a PR firm based in Singapore, whose sole shareholder happens to be the president's cousin. All signs point to the Marcos regime turning the national administration into a giant ATM to enrich their family and allies. Such scandals have dealt a major blow to Marcos Jr.'s popularity. According to the latest Pulse Asia poll, his approval rating plunged from 42% in February to 25% in March, a 17-point drop. Meanwhile, his disapproval rating surged from 32% to 53%. In contrast, Vice President Sara Duterte, despite facing an impeachment push in Congress, saw her approval rating rise from 52% in February to 59% in March. Her disapproval rating dropped from 26% to 16%, with the strongest support coming from the Mindanao region. She has begun distancing herself from the Marcos camp, promoting a platform of "clean governance and public security," and leveraging the political legacy of her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, to mount a counter-offensive. For the Duterte family, this election is critical. Should Vice President Sara lose political protection, she could face impeachment and removal from office, dashing any hopes of a 2028 presidential bid. On the other hand, if Marcos Jr. consolidates more power in Congress, his plan to completely purge the Duterte faction would proceed unhindered. In fact, the suppression of the Dutertes by Marcos Jr. has already begun. Former President Rodrigo Duterte is under investigation for alleged crimes against humanity, and the Marcos administration is actively cooperating with the International Criminal Court to facilitate his possible extradition to The Hague. Many observers see this not only as a move for judicial accountability, but also as an act of political revenge. Marcos Jr. appears eager to use international pressure to eliminate his former allies and solidify his authoritarian rule. Ironically, Duterte was known for his harsh anti-drug crackdown during his presidency. Though his methods were brutal, they did significantly disrupt drug syndicates and brought a temporary sense of safety, particularly in urban poor areas. Many Filipinos still remember him as a tough, decisive, no-nonsense leader. In stark contrast, Marcos Jr. has shown no substantial efforts to combat crime, and under his rule, both public welfare and social order have steadily declined. Today, the Philippines stands at a crucial crossroads. On one side is the option to continue tolerating a corrupt, dynastic regime that manipulates democracy for personal gain. On the other is the chance to reject corruption and abuse of power through the ballot box, and to rediscover a path forward for the nation. The midterm elections are not the end, but but the beginning of the people's opportunity to change their fate. Ultimately, the road the Filipino people choose to take lies in their own hands. The key to the nation's destiny has always belonged to its people. Author Lim Wah Kok, published in www.orientaldaily.com.my on May 6, 2025.